Hi guys, it's Debbie with Debbie J's Crafting Corner. Welcome back to my channel. I don't know if you are as excited as I am, but we have Miss Cheryl Boglioli, if I said it right, on my channel on my channel tonight, and we're going to be playing with a gel press. Now I've got a couple of them. I haven't worked with them. You guys know I haven't worked with them in probably 4 to 6 months. It's bad because I've been doing too many other. I've been bad, Cheryl. I am so sorry. But anyway, she's basically in the green room waiting for us. So I'm going to go ahead and get over there, and then I'm going to start saying hello to you guys that are in the chat. Be sure to turn on live chat so you know what's going on, and be sure to go down there and smash that like button. I'm going over there to see her now. Just a sec. So hello, Miss Cheryl.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you have planned for us to do with you tonight.
Well, my name is Cheryl Boglioli, so you said it correctly. Thank you very much. And so I am a mixed media artist, and I love to play with about everything. But one of my roles that I also have outside of my business is that I'm the creative director for Gel Press. So with that position, I help decide what direction we're going. I help organize our team. I play with gel press a lot. So that's what we're going to do today. So we're just going to play. I tried to, think about trying to create a specific project. And I've just found that, especially with these lives, that it just works better for me if I just kind of wing it and find out where everybody wants to go, where everybody's at, and just kind of go from there. So
love it. So you like doing seat of your pants crafting. Awesome.
Absolutely. Yes.
Because that's
I'm
what
a
I do.
master at that.
I do that pretty much every single project. I start working on stuff, and until I start putting it together, I have no idea what I'm doing. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and say hello to some of the folks over in the chat. Dawn has been on here since like 5 o'clock. She has been waiting for us, and so has TR. You guys are fantastic. We've also got Miss Gloria Wolf, and Jean Morin is in the house.
Hello, ladies.
TR says, gosh, you scared me. I was in the other room when you went live. I have to share that up on the screen. That is just too funny. Love you, Miss TR. And Miss Wendy Jansen is in the house too. Wendy, tell us in the chat where you're from, because I'm trying to remember. My brain stopped working again as usual. So I'm going to go ahead and get back over with Cheryl, and she can guide me as to what she wants me to kind of play with. I've got stencils out. I've got a couple of gel press out. I've got paints. I've got copy paper. I was thinking about using some of my like newsprint, because I've got a newsprint pack that I've never used, but I'm thinking copy paper is probably cheaper than the newsprint, right? Or no? So I don't really use a lot of those other things.
Yeah, it just depends on which one, which paper that you're using and which copy paper. And the fun thing about gel press is that you can use most any paper that you have. So, I'm hoping that you're going to play a little bit. Are you wanting me to teach you along the way, or how's that going to work?
I always love learning new things, so
okay,
I'm going to play. But if you want to share some stuff too that will help me get better at it and be not as afraid of the mess, that's always helpful.
Because I know we got a lot. Yeah, you like to stay nice and neat. Within those little grids on your mat.
I cleaned my desk off. I bought a new cart yesterday, one of those 10-drawer rolling things from Michael's. So pretty much everything that was on my desk, like all of my card bases and scrap cardstock, all that stuff is gone off my desk now. So I'm able to use most of my 7-foot-long desk.
Good,
so I already mentioned it to you, but the guys out there, they know I've been using a white glass mat. Well, I still have it on my desk now. I have room for both my regular Tim Holtz and my white one. My white one's off to the side, so I've got plenty of messy space available.
Good. And I see that a couple of them are commenting from the Netherlands and whatnot. Yeah, so I hope everybody will kind of pop in and tell us where they're from, because I love to see where everybody's coming from.
Oh, yeah. So I was excited when I found out that you're in South Florida.
I'm in South Florida. You're only a couple
of hours away from me. Yay.
I'm about 2 hours southeast of you. So, yeah.
Awesome. But, okay, well, why don't we go ahead and get started then? I do have, like I said, I've got some stuff out.
Yeah, and you were asking about paper, so I anything that you've got within reach, I would say use. I mean, I have copy paper, and I prefer the thinner. There you go. See, that'll work.
I took it from the printer. I'll put it back when I'm done, right?
Yep. If I'm using and just want to practice prints, I'll use the cheaper, thinner copy paper just to kind of
Mhm.
play with it. If I'm working with stencils where that are more finer holes in them, I'll use the thinner paper there too, just so that it can
Okay.
get down in those little grooves. But if I'm wanting to create something that's going to be my base or my background, well, then I might move up to a 28-pound paper or a 32-pound paper, something a little bit more like a cardstock, like just shy
Okay.
of a heavy duty cardstock. But the Nina
Like I
cardstock
use the
works really good too.
Okay. I use like 28-pound if I'm printing it for pages to go into my planner. So that's
Oh
the
yeah,
good one for
perfect.
that. And it's thicker
Yes.
than the other and a little more expensive, but it works. I've
It
got lots
works
of
and
different
it's
papers.
nice because it's super smooth. So the smoother that your paper is, the
Okay.
nicer, um, more crisp prints that you're going to get. Where if you
Okay.
use, say, like a watercolor paper that has the divots in it and you can see the fabric in it, well, that's going to show. So that won't be just quite as of a crisp. But you can use newsprint, you can use tags, you can use book pages, you can use envelopes, junk mail. It's a great way to do junk journals, is using up some of that junk mail that you get and printing them and making new things out of them. So the
Oh,
only
that's
thing that I recommend you don't use is like a really glossy paper.
like Yupo.
Something No, you can use Yupo.
Oh, okay.
Something more that has a clay base on it, like photo paper, like the
Oh,
stuff that
okay.
you actually print your photos on.
Mhm.
A lot of times, though, that will have a reaction with the mineral oil that's in the plates, and they don't play well together at all, and it's going to stick, and it doesn't want to come loose. So I kind of stick away from there. There's a few that people have tried that work, but in general, my recommendation is stick away from anything that's like a coated paper. Yupo is just a different type of paper, so Yupo
Right.
works actually really well.
Fantastic.
So that's great. Yeah, and you can use paints, you can use acrylic paints, you can use oil paints, you can even use watercolors, but just know that anything water based on this mineral plate will bead up a little bit.
Mhm.
So just keep that in mind if you're using inks or watercolors or sprays, but that can be a really fun look. So
Yeah, I think I did
don't
that like
keep
the
from doing
last
that.
time that I was using these. It's I was
Yeah.
using inks and I sprayed it with a sprayer and it seemed to work out okay. And I only have
Okay.
a couple of the small plates. I've got
Hmm.
this one and then I have and I was dumb. I didn't know you weren't supposed to throw away the packaging until after I threw away the packaging.
Oh no, you are.
Yeah,
Which packaging? The clamshell
the
or
clamshell. I threw away the clamshell. So for
okay?
storage, I had to kind of research that to see what you're supposed to do. Like I think you're not supposed to keep it on acetate because of the bubbles. I got that.
Right.
I remember seeing something saying that it's best to store it vertically. So I got this package. This thing is like an iris case, but it's a thin one. So I
Uh
can
huh.
basically hold it up on a shelf, like, vertical.
Okay.
Still, it's not perfect,
Yep.
but at least I've got a place to store my stuff.
And I keep looking up away from the camera because I'm trying to see what you're showing me. So like I'm
No
trying to watch
worries.
the camera, but I'm trying to watch what you're showing me too. So yeah, when you get the gel press plates, they come in a plastic clamshell.
Mhm.
So this is just gonna keep them from dust, dog hair, all that other kind of stuff.
Cats.
Kind of protect it. Yeah, cat hair, that kind of thing. So you do take it out of the clamshell. Now they usually come. I can open this one here just to give
Mhm.
you a little bit real quick. They come with the Mylar sheets on them.
Right.
So take that off and discard that. So that you don't want to put back on. You actually want to take that and get rid of that, but you keep the clamshell so that you can put them back in there. Once you take that Mylar off, you cannot put it back on there very nicely without getting bubbles on there. And
Yeah.
they're only put in there for the manufacturing process, just to
Okay.
get it from point A to point B to your house so that it's nice and neat when you get it home. So,
Okay. Well, one question then, since I have
yes.
two of them and I'm keeping them in the same package in that same container, having them on top of each other in that container, will that cause any kind of problems?
No,
Because I've been
it
leaving
won't.
plastic on them because I didn't want them to touch.
They can touch. I
Okay.
stack mine every once in a while. As a matter of fact, we sell class pack for teachers and stuff that they're on top of each other. So
With
you
no
can do
plastic
that.
in between? Awesome.
Right.
Okay.
And you can also, some people put paper. We don't recommend that as a rule, just because if you've
It'll
put
stick,
paper on
right?
there, well, it
Yeah.
sticks, but if you've put paper on there before, you might notice that, let's see, I put this one on here today. Oh yeah, maybe you can see. I don't know if you can see, like
I'm
there's the
gonna bring you up
shadow.
to I'm gonna bring you up big screen.
I'm trying to
Okay,
get
go
it
ahead.
turned here. So you can see that there's like that little bit of a cast from it sitting on there. And that's
Okay.
because the paper absorbed some of the mineral oil
Okay.
out of the plate.
So that means it's not quite as shiny when you look at it, right? It's a little bit more
Correct.
matte. Okay.
Yep, they'll get kind of fuzzy looking or whatever, but that's another way that you can just keep them from sticking to each other if that's a
Okay.
concern of yours. Um,
I just
I
didn't
keep
want to
mine.
damage them, and I thought, okay, sitting in this case that is number one too wide for them, and
Yep.
having them on top of each other, I thought was probably not a good idea. But turns
All
out that
right.
it is,
So
and I can always clean these guys up. My sheets that came with it. Get back on there, and use them for shaker cards or something.
absolutely. Yeah, you can use them for a shaker card. You can use them for stencils. You can use them as a palette. There's so many different things you can use them with. And people are concerned about, oh, I don't want to damage it. If you don't stick glossy paper on it, don't use scissors on it, and don't use a blowtorch. They are flammable, so please don't use fire. Or your heat. Some people will use their heat gun. Just do it very, very carefully if you do, because
They're
it's
probably
mineral oil.
thinking let's dry the
Right.
paint or whatever, and that's not a good idea to do it that way.
No, because they are flammable, so don't do that.
Well, guess
But
what?
other
I
than
am
that,
going to be saving this video as reference since I've got the gel press expert here, so I can go back and learn again.
yes, definitely. And I'm always learning too. So we're experimenting all the time. So we're trying to find out, what's the longevity of things and how well it's going to last. Because this is a reusable product. You can use this again and again and again and again. And we want you to be able to use it for many, many years. So, but people worry about it being indestructible or hurting it. I can wad this thing up. I can twist it. And
Awesome.
I can
And I'm trying to
stretch
keep
it.
mine all. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's not going to hurt it. So they're pretty darn, I wouldn't say indestructible last time I saw them, but they're pretty, you can abuse them quite well. So
ladies, that means that if it's clean and your grandkids got a hold of them, it's okay. They're not going to hurt your stuff.
And while you're talking about kids, I know I'm not showing you anything, but these are non-toxic. They are safe for kids to play with, and they're inert. So if some child did somehow or another have like razor sharp teeth and bit a chunk out of it, it's going to come out the same way that it went in. So it will not hurt them. So
good.
Yes. So you can play with these with your kids. The only thing you might have to worry about is what kind of products you use. And when you first receive these are also food safe. So if you wanted to do something like fondant or something else like that, you could use that. But once you stick acrylic paint or ink, something on it, well, then I'd say, no, don't do that anymore. That changes the whole thing a little bit. But you can play with paints. I'm going to grab this basket of paint here and pull out a few colors. Now you like to play with paints, but also inks. What else do you play with?
I have thought about alcohol inks, and I've seen that you can do it, but I've also seen where people say that it stains a lot. So I haven't done that on there.
So what? Come on. We're embracing the messy. You're embracing the messy now.
One thing I do want to double check though, I think I saw somewhere where you shouldn't use like glitter paints. This is some cheapo stuff from the Dollar Tree.
Mm-hmm.
When I say that it's cheap, it's like it's got glitter in there, but it's very, very translucent. Is this something you think would be okay to use on one of these without damaging it?
Is the glitter chunky, or is it like really soft, fine glitter?
This looks like it's soft, fine. So I'm putting that up to the screen so maybe you could see that.
I think that you can use it. It almost
because
looks like
I bought this.
Metallic,
I used it once and didn't like the result from when I used it the one time that I did, and I've actually got like
3 or 4 colors.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's something I could use on my gel press, then at least I wouldn't feel like I wasted, $4.
Yep. Yeah, you can use that. Yeah, you know what? I always tell you to experiment a little bit. I
Okay.
mean, the thing has 2 sides, so if you mess up one side, flip it over and use the other.
Awesome.
And you were worrying about staining it. This is one of my older plates here, so you can tell that it has like a yellowish cast to it. Mine is stained, but it doesn't hurt it. I can still use it. I can still press with it. This one is a cleaner one, so this one is not stained, but they both work equally the same. So you know what? Don't worry about it getting stained. It's not going to hurt the way that it will work. It's still going to do what it's supposed to do. You need a brayer.
Which I do have this speedball brayer.
Okay. So you just need a good brayer. You need some paper and you need some runoff paper, something that you can clean your brayer with.
Okay.
So you can use, let's see, any kind of, I like to use my journal or some watercolor paper or something a little bit thicker so that I can just build up layers on there. And then I may use that in my artwork a little bit later. So I've got a couple plates. Just to let you know too, just real quick, since we are talking about gel press does come in many, many different sizes. So I pulled out a couple here.
I've seen huge ones.
Yeah, the 8 by
those
10.
shaped ones. And those shaped ones. Those I've seen a lot of the a lot of your videos over on Aaron Reed.
Okay, yeah, we just did a live with Aaron Reed the other day.
I think not too long ago you did a gel press one with her too.
I did. Yeah. I did. And Gel Press, if you go to our YouTube channel, Gel Press on YouTube, our creative team there has videos that are coming out every week with tutorials telling you how to use them, from everything from making cards to printing on fabric to creating fine art. So whatever it is that you're interested in, we have a really awesome team. So our 8 by 10 is one of our most popular sizes, and our 5 by 7. But we also have a 6 by 6. So this one is, see, I have them stuck together. They just cling. This one is a 6 by 6. So I use this one quite a lot, and it's perfect for card makers. We have shapes. So this one is our puzzle. So this one is a puzzle piece that was supporting autism.
That was one that I saw that when you just came out with that, I saw that over on Aaron's channel.
That was a lot of fun.
You guys made some cute things.
We did. And we have petites. So they come in a variety of different sizes. So this one here is our set A, basic, circle, triangle, and square. But we've got a variety of different sizes available. And we also have impressibles. So the impressible is like a giant stamp on steroids is what we say. So it's embossed and has a raised edge so that you can use that as like a giant stamp to create other texture, but it's still made out of the same gel, so you can pull prints and get some really fun prints with it too. So there's a bunch of different sizes. That's just a little sampling of it. All right.
What I need an affiliate link for that. I need to become an affiliate for Gel Press.
We are working on an affiliate program with Gel Press right now. So I will let you know as soon as that is ready.
Awesome. Well, we've got a lot of folks in the chat. They are just talking up a storm. But I did notice that there was a question. I'm going to have to scroll back and see if there are any other ones. But Dawn Wilcox was asking, can you use oxide inks on the gel press?
You absolutely can. Yep. The only thing
that's one of the things I'll do then. I will grab, since it's right here, I'll grab some of my Distress Oxides and we shall see what it looks like.
Yep. Now, I encourage everybody to play, because I can sit here and I can show you what's going to work with me. But I've done this a whole lot, so I kind of have an idea. I mean, I still always add too much paint. That's just, I'm very heavy-handed, and I'm also an aggressive brayer. That's just the way I work. But, you know, every time that you try a new paint or a new medium, whether it's the Distress Oxides or just the Distress inks or the Catherine Pooler inks or any of those, every one of them is going to react different as far as how well they blend, how well that they go onto your plate, which way's better, how much you need, how little you need. So play a little bit before you try to make your little masterpiece. And surprisingly, a lot of times you'll get a little masterpiece out of that. So always start with a little, and then if you feel you need more, add more is what I recommend. So
Okay. So I think since John was asking about the distress oxides, I'm going to do that first, clean it off, and then do some paint because I never use my acrylic paints.
okay.
I've got a bunch of those old craft paints that I never actually use. I used I made a few years ago I was doing paper mache pumpkins like for Halloween.
Uh-huh.
So I've got all these paints. I bought a batch pack because I wanted to get the best deal on everything, even though it wasn't really because I didn't use it all.
Right, right.
It's not a good deal if you don't use it.
And when you're using those distress oxides, you can either use your brayer to pick up the ink and lay it on your plate, or you can use them directly to your plate.
Like I just did.
Yeah.
And
so I'm just using a little bit of paint, and I'm going to start off here just showing you how to create a simple ombre, which can be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that is very pretty.
Isn't it a pretty blend? I love that. So I'm just giving them a brayer back and forth. And so here's my clean off sheet over here on this side. And with this, I could take this and I could easily create a card background right away. So I'm just going to use see, I didn't plan this out very well. See, this is flying by the seat of my pants. So I'm just going to use a basic piece of here that I cut to go on a 6x6 card. So this is about 5.5 by 5.5. Mm-hmm. And because this is, I still have paint around it, a good little trick to do there so you don't get your hands messy, since you said you don't. I'm going to attempt. I'm not making you any promises, Debbie.
Okay.
But I'm going to attempt to play with you today and not make a mess, to show you
don't have to do that.
That was my challenge to myself. So I could put a piece of paper over this so that I could give it a rub and not get the paint on my hands while I'm playing. So if you could use a brayer here, I like to use my hands because they're always with me, and I like to fill, especially if you're using stencils, so that you can fill where you're getting into those little grooves and stuff. So I could give a little rub. If I picked up my brayer and used the same brayer, of course, I'm going to get paint on the back of my paper. And that's where people start getting messy, for those of you who don't. For those of you who do, go for it, girl or boy, and have fun and just get messy. You could also have a clean brayer and pick that up and, smooth that out. So
awesome. Well, Cordelia says, I'm running around getting my stuff so I can play along.
Oh, good. Okay, so whoever's playing along, I want to see what you made. So when you're done, how about, sharing it later? Hopefully we'll have a group or something on your Facebook page, or put it on my Facebook page, or you guys can come visit. We have a group for gel press, the gel press printmakers on Facebook, where you can join and then share all your work there. So I've got this fun little background. I've still got a couple little paint splots, which I like because I like things that aren't perfect. So I have a background ready to go. I can add more things to it. So that's just a simple gradation background color. So we have that.
Awesome. I do have a couple of Facebook groups, and you are more than welcome to join us. One of them is called Crafting with Debbie, and I do ask these ladies to always share with me all of their stuff, just because I like seeing what they do. Yeah. But you're more than welcome to join us over there. I know they'd love to have you over there too. Yes. Oh, by the way, guys, I don't know if you know, but she has a YouTube channel as well. She does so much stuff for us already with all the different companies that she works with, that she's so busy she hasn't had time to do a ton on her YouTube channel. So you guys go over there and show her some love.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I was travel teaching for so many years that was what my focus was. But now that, we've kind of been grounded, so to speak, I haven't been able to get back on the road and get traveling. So I do need to start building up my online classroom and my YouTube channel. So thank you for that little shout out.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I didn't realize I wasn't already following you in all of the places. So I am now.
Well, I think that we get we see each other here, we see each other there, we just assume we're following each other, and
Oh
then
yeah,
we're
like
not. I
I
mean,
didn't know that you had. I mean, I think I remember something about the gel press group, but I don't know if I'm actually in it.
oh,
I
you should, because we've got a very
I
active
thought I was, but I
printmakers
don't
group.
know if I was or not.
Yeah, we've got a gel press printmakers, and it's a good active group too. All right, so now I've created the same background. So I just want to show you, some of the different things you can do. So I've used the same colors, done the same little blend, but now I'm going to mix it up a little bit. I can do that in a variety of different ways. One of my favorites is to use wallpaper rollers.
Oh my god.
Isn't that fun? But you can also
What did you
find...
do for the texture? I mean, what I see that the roller is, what are you using on the roller itself?
That's the way I bought it. That's a wallpaper. It's do
wow.
rub this on the wall and it'll create that texture on the wall. So I can just kind of come in here and print that texture. Let me find
that
some
is
paper here.
fantastic. I need
And look,
that.
I've got another print.
Hey,
Yes.
Elizabeth, I have to tell Elizabeth, I know she's out in the chat.
Oops.
We both need that. Do you have that, Elizabeth? She does a lot more of the messy techniques than I do. And she's actually, I think, one of the reasons that I started doing some of it.
Yeah. So now we've done that. And so now I can pull a print. And this time I'm not gonna rub as hard. I'm just gonna give a little rub because I want to get a couple prints out of this. And that's a good way to learn to play too, is just to play with different textures, different pressures, different paints, different amounts of paint. So make sure I've got good contact.
I think one of the hardest things to do is to know when you're done, or know that you're not quite done, so keep going. Like
right.
I just did this one, but that's just 2 colors of paint and one of these little gel press kind of
texture combs.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've never used these. I just opened them tonight to play.
And
I'm thinking this would be kind of cool as a starting point for an ocean kind of background.
Oh, that
TR says wallpaper roll. What?
I know.
That's why I said I need that.
I'll be honest. I found that on Amazon. So, but look, this is the background that I created.
I love that. I love that. Pam, PJB Stamper Pam says that Elizabeth doesn't need anything new right now. See, well, the thing is, Elizabeth is supposed to be saving up for a trip.
Oh.
And she's supposed to be going. I think the deal is she's supposed to be going to see Pam, and I don't know if she's going to make it. Okay, I am trying this watery Dollar Tree paint. I mean, that's a big puddle, and it's all just water.
Okay. Yeah, that does look really...
Yeah, it's very translucent. It's like it doesn't actually do anything. So I'm going to have to put something on top of it.
But that's a way to build layers with a little translucency. So the paint underneath, because I am in Florida, my AC's on, my lights are on, this first coat is already dry.
Okay.
So now I'm going to add another coat of paint in a contrasting color. And see, I think I put a little too much on there, but see, a little heavy there. So I'll take some off.
Yeah, my paints, it seems like every one that I pick up, because it's the cheap Craft Smart things, they're all separated. It's like I just get them. I've been trying.
And unfortunately, that's one reason why, I'm all for saving a buck. But I'll tell you, my experience over the many, many years is that cheaper paints don't save you a buck, because they don't last, they don't hold up. You need more of them, so you actually end up using more than if you would just get some really good paints.
Yeah, I've got some Dina Wakeley's that I really like from using them before, and some of these, and it was Hobby Lobby $1.50.
Oh, that's
they had it on clearance. Yeah, and it's this
because that's her old packaging. That's why.
And I love this turquoise color, and there's some green that I got, also another one that was $1.50. But I really haven't done that much with them. I'm probably putting more paint down than I'm supposed to.
Well, if it smushes out, you have too much, and that's how you learn. Go next time. So I want to get all of this. So I'm going to put that on there, and I'm going to let this dry for a little bit so that I can come back and pick up all of that paint. So that's why I pulled out a couple plates. So I'm going to let that one move over to the side and dry, and pull out the other one that I have, if I can remember where I put it. I need like more space here.
So when you let the paint dry on the plate instead of doing a pull, what does that do? Like, why would you do that?
Because if the paint was still wet and I added a second layer to it, it's just going to smear the paint. It's going to smear that first layer that I put on. So if I let it dry and then add a layer of paint to it, that second layer of paint is going to reactivate and rehydrate that first layer that dried, so that when I peel it up, it'll pick up all of it at the same time, and I'm building layers as I go. That's one of my favorite things to do. So maybe I'll do that in a few minutes and show you how I really build up multiple layers in a one print pool. So we'll play with that in just a minute. How are you doing there? How's your paint coming out?
Well, I used the excess and put it on the second panel here. This one's better. The other one is still very wet because I have way too much on there, I think.
And I'm just using the same colors again, just because I want to show you, the different things that you can do with the same types of processes.
And then I went over it with one of those cheap Dollar Tree really translucent paints. And it looks like what it's doing now, and I can't get it really to zoom much. I'll pick it up. But now it's got all these little dots in the center. You see that, where it's basically pulling the paint away?
So it looks like it's beating up a little bit?
Yeah, I would say do not use this stuff on here because it doesn't. It's going to look interesting. It'll look interesting when it's done, but
right. And that's probably because there's a lot of what they call filler. There's a lot of fluid medium or some type of medium that's in there. And I've already ruined my idea of not getting messy. Look at that. I got it on my arm. So I failed. I just can't. I was trying to do it for you. I can't.
Okay, so going back and just looking in the chat. So Elizabeth says she's gonna craft something. I don't know what they're talking about because I'm missing in the chat because I'm doing stuff.
Okay, you play. I'll read the chat. No, I'm teasing.
And Linda did say, "Oh boy, more tools that I want to play with."
Oh, well, I showed you
That's a pretty color. This one was a mixture of the Dina Wakley turquoise and the green. The green is called Evergreen.
And I think the turquoise is that pool or?
I'm sorry?
Her turquoise paint, is that like called pool or?
It's called turquoise.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But it's still that minty blue-green color that I have everywhere. These guys know that I love it.
All right, so this one I found at Michael's, and this is a fondant roller. So this one's in the icing department.
I may have to do some of that. Hobby Lobby usually has some things like that on sale all the time.
Yep. So this one has little dots on it, and this one has little fins, so it's like a little mermaid. So
yeah,
we'll give it a nice little roll.
Okay, so my main plate was way too wet, so I'm taking the paint off of it. I'm brayering some of it off and putting it again on my spare.
There you go. Perfect.
So I did put down way too much. Well, I'm seeing you do those little bitty dots, and I'm like, squirt. It doesn't really work that well.
Right. And your gel plate can also be a palette. So by rubbing this on there, I was able to pull a print and then use it to stamp with, use that little roller on another piece of paper. So this might be able to be used for something later. Yeah. All right, so let's lift this one. And I don't want to smush too hard because I don't want to lose those little marks that I just made. And so that's something else that you'll learn when you're playing with it, especially if you've got a good little layer of paint on there and you create those little shapes and you remove paint and then you put your paper. And then if you pushed really hard, you'll kind of smush that paint back together and you'll lose those little imprints that you made. Ta-da! So there you go. So I can get one print and then I can go ahead and pull this one too and get a ghost print or a second print because there's still plenty of paint on there. And I love to use these as backgrounds for cards, even if because right now I'm just using copy paper. If I wanted to use this as a background, I could cut it and then just adhere it to a thicker piece of cardstock to be my background. I'm thinking. Yeah, absolutely. So now the second pull, I can press a little bit harder because now I want to try to get up all the rest of the paint. So, oh, good. Seeing if anybody's left any more comments. TR says, sweet ideas. Yay.
Elizabeth says, I have a lot. She has lots of gel place. So
Oh,
she's good in that department. Yes.
Yes. So are you, Elizabeth, are you part of our Gel Press Printmakers group on Facebook? If not, and you have a lot of gel plates, go and visit and just, you have to answer a couple questions, just like all of our other groups. You know, we want to make sure we don't have robots and all that in there. So answer a couple questions. And when they ask you, like, how'd you find out about us or whatever, just say that, you know, Cheryl said to come visit. And that way they know I'm doing my job. It's good for me.
Absolutely.
So there you go. So you can see that with this one little thing.
That is just, that looks incredible.
But look, I got 3 different prints because I got the first print, I got the stamping motion from the little fondant roller, and then I got my ghost print. So 3 prints with just 1 application of paint. See how we can make paint go a long way. It doesn't have, and it's because it's such a thin layer, this is already starting to dry. So the first one has still got a little thicker paint on it. So we're just going to set this over here.
Well, I know my guys are probably wondering because I mentioned that Todd went out on his bike ride. So he is back. He has not started bugging me yet, like bringing the alligator or anything in. But I have to show you what he gave me for Valentine's Day because guess what? He actually listens in when I'm talking to you guys, which is weird.
Aww.
I got gnomes.
Oh, I love gnomes.
These are little concrete, concrete gnomes. They're very heavy. But yeah, he gave me this little family of gnomies.
That
so tonight I am crafting with my gnomies. I thought that was just too funny because I mentioned on one of my videos when I was recording the one that I just did. It was an Easter card thing. That Easter wobbler I made for Not Too Shabby just went up like on Saturday, whatever day the 13th was. I don't know my days anymore. Anyway, I just put that video up for them and I was mentioning, and there's like, I've never really gotten into the whole gnome thing, but these are just so darn cute.
That is really cute.
So this is like the 3rd card I made using gnomes like in the last couple of months. So he got me some baby gnomes.
That's cute.
I bet he got them from Toscana.
Okay, so you ready for the reveal for this one here? This is the one that I let dry for a little bit. So I can feel it and tell that it's pretty dry. So now when I lift it up, and when you do this, here's a little tip for you. If you find that you're starting to pull your paper, and mine's pulling up really well, but if it wasn't, and if it's sticking and your paper's wanting to stick, sometimes you can flip it over and peel the plate off of the paper. Wow. And look at this with the contrast colors. Isn't that just Oh, just so fun. I love that.
And it's those bright Valentine's Day colors too.
Yes.
Perfect for
Yep.
Galentine cards, which I do have to mention. I got a Galentine's card from one of my guys out here. So thank you.
Aww,
That was, I know I
is
got it around here
sweet.
somewhere because I didn't put it away.
Okay,
Because I
so
wanted to share it.
yeah, so find it and share it with us, definitely. I ended up I will share with you. I got some good old-fashioned cash for Valentine's Day, and I'm excited about it because for Christmas, a few people know, my daughter and my husband bought me for Christmas a week-long retreat in Ireland this fall.
Oh my God.
I haven't had like just a play date for myself to get away that's not work in so long. I did the whole ugly cry thing. It was hilarious. I mean, kind
Oh
of.
wow.
So my husband and my daughter now for the holidays until we get to the fall when I go on my trip are giving me money to go for spending money on my trip. So they've already taken care of the trip and stuff, but just to help me give me some extra play cash while I'm there. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to go back into our pictures and see where all we went. My in-laws took us to Ireland several years ago, and the hardest part I think is the way the nights. We were going out to we would get pictures like for my husband likes to take pictures of sunset, but it wasn't sunset until like 10 o'clock at night.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It was terrible. And Pam, PJB Stamper is asking, where in Ireland are you going?
I am going to Mulroney. So there is a studio there called Essence of Mulroney. And I am taking an encaustic retreat workshop for a whole week. So I'm
what does that word mean?
Encaustic is working with wax.
Okay.
It's wax that's mixed with resin. So I used to do that a long time ago and haven't in quite a while. So I love it. It's just a completely different medium to work with. So I am so stinking excited. I can't even tell you.
I don't blame you a bit. Oh my goodness.
I'm digging in paint, trying to find the color I'm looking for. Okay. So
is that wax and resin? Is that what they like make wax seals out of? Because I've got some wax seal wax that seems to be a bit harder than like regular wax.
No, I think wax seals are mostly just wax seals. The reason why they mix it in there is because it becomes this translucent look. You melt it and you paint with melted wax and you just build up these layers on top of it. But the little bit of resin that's in there helps it to cure and to harden so that it's not going to be as hard as like a resin pour or nothing like that. It's in between a really soft wax and a soft resin. I don't know how to explain it any more than that, but you know what? You're only 2 hours from me. You need to come down here and I'll show you. How's that?
Sounds awesome.
There you go.
As it is, I was wanting to ask you when I chatted with you earlier. It's like, when you're in town for Creativation, we need to do lunch. Assuming you have time.
Yeah, I'm thinking right now. Maybe. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe the day before or maybe the day after, but I don't know yet because I don't know how my schedule is going to go. I know that once we're there, I'll be working the whole time, hun. So I won't be able to sneak out and go have lunch. Not while the show's going on anyway.
Absolutely
but
understood.
You know what? I'm always going up that way. I need an IKEA trip. So
yeah, we're just south of we're north of Orlando, south of Daytona.
Yep, I've gone up there.
Just like right off of I-4.
Because that's where the train picks up for people who might come down.
The train is in Sanford. Absolutely.
Yep,
That's the right town. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I'd say that the train station's like 5 minutes from my house.
Oh, okay. All right.
Which means you could take the train up and I could go get you.
Okay. my brayer. I need to get a clean
Okay,
brayer.
then
'Cause when I
Jane,
get
and
this
thank
clean,
you guys. I have to say thank you for putting question in all caps so that I noticed the questions. Pam was asking what country is that in, and it's Ireland that she was talking about. Jean Marin is asking, Cheryl, what kind of paint are you using, and can she use gouache?
Yes, you can use gouache. Oh, I don't have it within reach right now. Today I'm using Royal Talons Amsterdam. So if you can, here's a bigger, let's see. This is Talons paint also. This is Art Creations, but here's some bigger bottles so that you can see it. There you go. Amsterdam paint by Royal Talons.
So
I
I've
love
also got
these,
the
but
Liquitex. Do you feel that
Yep.
Liquitex works well with this? Because
Oh,
that's
yeah.
better than the Craft Smart, I know.
Yep, Liquitex will work. Golden works. You know, those are your finer art paints. Your Dina Wakley paints definitely work. I love using those. I have some of those over there also. You can use, let's see, what else? I was just doing something. I also work with the Crafters Workshop, as you know. And the Crafters Workshop has these yummy stencil butters. And these
I was seeing
also
that on that video you just did with Aaron. It's like, I need affiliate links for that.
So go and
I'm already
visit the
into the
Crafters
Simon
Workshop.
Hurley things. That's another thing. Simon Hurley paste.
He's on our team. Yeah.
So Lunar Paste works good with this?
Yes,
Guess
it
what I'm
does.
getting out, Elizabeth? I'm getting out my Simon Hurley.
Now, Simon Hurley is one of our creative artists. So you can go to the Gel Press YouTube and see videos by Simon Hurley playing with Gel Press.
Well, I got a bunch for my birthday. My husband, the reason I was saying something is that they've heard me talk about, he overheard me say something about, oh, I don't have that stuff. That looks cool. And so he bought me the set of 5 for my birthday this year in November. And then now the new colors came out. So now I've got those. So now I got all these cool things out on my desk. Yeah, I'm gonna make a mess. I'm getting ink on I'm getting paint on my fingers, but now I got to try this stuff because that's gonna be just lovely.
I am too. Now, I showed you a couple of tools that you have to buy, but what about things that you've already got in your house? So this is just a little squeegee. So you could create little patterns with a little squeegee. And I'm going to use 2 plates here and just kind of mess them up a little bit. Build up some layer. You can, let's get that on there and clean that off. So find things that you have around the house. This was some stuff that came in a package that I got, and I tried to pick out some of this. Yeah, so I love this little honeycomb pattern. So I could take that and lift and stamp and lift and stamp, or I can look here and put some over there. So here I'm building up layers right there on the plate by doing that. You can use like a wooden tool. So I could turn it around, use either side of that.
As long as it's not sharp.
Yeah, as long as it's not sharp.
I've got a palette knife to get stuff out of my little containers of Lunar Paste, but I'm not touching them. I'm actually using a silicone spatula to transfer it onto my gel paste because I don't want to take a chance of messing up my gel plate because I poked it by mistake.
Well, like I said, they're pretty indestructible. So I was able just to pull some things that I found. You can use like an orange, like here's a bag that some oranges came in because we live in the wonderful Florida. So I could put that down.
I think the hardest part is waiting for it to dry.
If I'm building layers.
I don't know how much to add for layers yet. And I put too much on. I had still some of it was wet on here. So when I did a pull.
Yep.
Yeah, this one's going to have another pull put on top of it because that's ugly.
So that's why I will always have a couple of plates running at one time. So you see on my desk right now, I've got 2 8x10s, 3x5, and a 5x7 just in case, so that I can keep on playing while I'm working on, one of these pieces or something. So, Let's see.
And Dawn asks, can I let my paint dry on my jelly plate on purpose, then pull it with the next layer?
Yes, so that's what I'm doing right now. I'm letting this kind of dry, and I'm going to build up here. So it's almost dry. We can give, so this is where I'll use a piece of paper to fan it. I don't want to use my heat gun because what did I tell you?
Yeah, it could damage things.
It's
Absolutely.
It's flammable, so it can actually
Oh yeah, it's flammable.
Combust. Yep.
We don't want to do that.
No. Let's see if it's still a little wet here. You can use stamps. So you can use your rubber stamps. You can use your polymer stamps. Do just a note that if you're using polymer, because this is squishy, your polymer squishy, just be careful when you put them down because sometimes they may have a tendency to kind of slip on the paint. So just press them softly. But these, I've got some art foamy stamps here, some other stamps, foam stamps.
And so with foam stamps, that's something you could make yourself because all of us have got foam of some sort.
Right.
Does Simon use his stamping foam on this?
Yes, he sure does. Yep. And you can use rubber stamps. Guys. Just clean your rubber stamps after you're done with, just clean them so that you don't get paint in the tiny little holes. Give them a little scrub. You can use a little alcohol if you need to or something. Just give them a good, with a nail brush or something as soon as you're done. And most of the time it comes right out. So it may stain it, but they come out pretty clean. So this is fairly dry. So let's see. I could use a white and pick all this up, or I could use a contrasting color again, which is what I'm going to do because I love that zing of that pop of color. And okay, I'm just going to put some out. Now, there's a couple different ways that you can put it out too. I could put it directly on here, or this is one reason why I do like to have another plate. So if you find that you're heavy-handed, like you're saying right now that you're having a hard time putting too much out at one time, right? If you'll put it on a second plate and use that as your palette, that'll kind of give you wiggle room. You can decide how much to load so that you don't add too much.
Which means I need more plates. I only have the 2. But right now they both have got the blue with the gold while I'm waiting for this. And I know that Simon Hurley doesn't take long to dry, but since I left it with some texture, I used one of the combs to drag through it, and I don't want to mess that part up, so I don't want to touch it until it's dry.
Yep.
And it's still wet.
So I'm just doing a real
So I just get to watch you now. I can't do anything. I got to watch you.
All right. So I put a thin coat on there, and now I'm going to put another layer, bit of paper, and we'll pull that print. I love to do this when I'm working on a thicker paper. I like to use like a really thick mixed media paper or watercolor paper. And just know that when you're building layers, you're working in reverse. So the first layer you put down will actually be the top layer when you turn your paper back upside down. And if you're not sure, a good way to test that is think about turning your plate upside down. What you put down first are the things that are going to be on top. So if I actually used like a black ink and stamped an image on here, let that dry, and then put another layer, and then put another layer, and then put another layer, and then ripped it all up, then did my pull, then that first black image that I put down will be the one that sits on top when you do your pull.
Okay, Dawn says, no, I was listening and then looking in the chat, and Dawn said, lol, Debbie, you have time to go order a few more gel plates because I have to wait for this to dry. Tiara had said a little bit ago that this has been great, so they're apparently having a great time over here.
Good.
But she has company, so she's going to have to watch everything later, so she just left.
All right.
Well, make sure you come and join us. Just said hug.
Let us know what you make and what you play with, but enjoy your company because that's, you know what, those are treasured moments lately.
And yes, we would love to have you join us over in the Crafting with Debbie Facebook group.
I will.
So I'm going to have to send you a link to that.
Definitely do, because if not, I'll forget. Because I'm now, what were we talking about yesterday? I have noun loss quite often, and I forget things. So
Oh yeah.
All right, so
everybody loves the
aside, let it
gnomes,
dry.
Todd. I had to tell my husband that everybody loves those little gnomes.
Yeah. All right. I like to have, I'm a little brayer also, so that I can come in here and maybe add just little patches of color. You don't have to use your whole plate. So I get a lot of people who will say, oh, I don't want that big 12 by 12 plate because I'm not going to use 12 by 12 paper, or that's just too big for me. You don't have to use the whole plate. I could just use little sections at a time. So.
But I'm thinking I need the big plate because when you have a big piece of paper, I mean, if you're using cardstock, just, cardstock A2 size panels or whatever, that the size is fine, which is what I was thinking when I got it. But if you're wanting to use any of the bigger paper and make maybe your own pattern papers that you can cut apart and do whatever with, you really need the bigger ones to be able to make that.
And if you have scrapbook paper, like you've got some of that old scrapbook paper that we bought way back when, that's really thin and that has, and we just don't love that pattern anymore, the 12 by 12 plate is perfect to remake your paper. Take that old paper and instead of throwing it away, actually use that to create something new, make it, put prints on it or whatever.
So all the stuff you don't use, guys, because you think it's butt ugly, you can add things to it to make it pretty.
Absolutely. So let's see.
Okay. I'm gonna say that this is done. So I can add white, just not a lot, to this, and the gold, because it's on the bottom, should show up on the print, correct? I'm double checking because that's the way I understand it.
Okay, so the first layer that you put on the bottom is the gold, the first layer that you put down?
Well, the first layer is actually what was left over from my last couple of pulls.
Okay, so that's what's going to be on the top.
This one has mostly blue, but it's got a lot of the gold showing through, and I can see the clear jelly plate underneath it. This one isn't as much because it's got more of the blue on top, but if I put white or something on top, then you should be able to see maybe the gold through some of the blue.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm going to bring out I have this bottle that I have never opened that I think I got because it was on sale. My one thing of Liquitex. And I'm not going to put much because I don't really want to mess it up. And I don't know how dry this is, but I've been waiting and I don't want to wait anymore. That's another one of my problems is I'm impatient.
Yeah, the patience, you have to have a little bit of patience. But see, this is my meditation. I can't sit and do yoga and meditate because I have this voice that just does not stop in my head. So this is my meditation. I can just sit here and I can just play and build up layers. I can get lost in this pretty quickly.
So it wasn't completely dry, so I can see that I got quite a bit of it on my brayer of the gold. But I think it'll turn out okay anyway. We'll see, guys.
But are you learning as you do it, right?
Yes.
So you could do it again, which I challenge you to do. What's on your agenda for tomorrow?
I have I have at least one video to edit.
Okay,
but it's one that's already recorded that I recorded a couple of weeks ago, and I showed Elizabeth the cards at the beginning of the month, and then the next day I realized, oh, I can't actually put this one up yet. It's one of the spellbinders. It's for the release that's at the end of the month that I didn't know. So now I've got that one to edit, but I need to play more too. I need to
carve out a little bit of time tomorrow to practice some of the things that you learned from today. A little less paint, do your layers, something else like that. And a little bit goes a long way. I'm trying to find different colors here to play with. Ooh, I'll use, is this gold? I can't read. Nope, that's raw sienna. Oh, I'm looking for metallic.
And then Jonna had to say goodbye too. She said, thanks for this video. Well, you guys know it is going to be on my channel forever. So that means we're all going to be watching this again and trying out all these cool things. So I can tell that this one isn't quite dry enough because it's
So just put your paper on there and let it just move it off to the side and let it dry for a minute on the plate.
So this is kind of what that's going to look like when it's done. So you can see the gold through it. Okay, and that means that this one isn't going to be dry enough either. So the top layer has to be dry too in order to be able to pull it? I guess I'm not real.
It needs to dry with the paper, your final layer.
So putting it down and pulling it off right away is not a good idea. Okay, I will put
it depends on
everything is no, it's fine. One of my favorite things to say when anybody asks me a question is it depends.
It depends upon the type of paint that you used. You know, what I do here in Florida, and then I go out to somewhere like California or Arizona or something.
So fast.
It's different. It's completely different. So I always, you know, that was one of the challenges I had when I was travel teaching all over the country. Was you know, it would be different in different areas. It was different in Australia than it was here. It was different. It's different in Canada in the winter than it is in Florida in the summer. You know, you just have to experiment and play. A lot of times, every time you sit down, because today it's a little bit cooler in Florida than it was, you know, last week. And tomorrow we're back in the 80s again. So tomorrow is going to be different than today.
I have to say yay for that one. I mean, I knew you're going to get warmer weather than I'm going to get here, but I was cold. I've been wearing my bathrobe all day. And I have a little blanket over here.
All right.
Because my husband was sweet yesterday. He had to work at the office, so he turned the AC up so that I wouldn't have to even think about it. So yesterday seemed warmer, although it was colder out. But he kept the house pretty warm for me. Happy Valentine's Day. He just said Happy Valentine's Day. Speaking of, I saw that Monica mentioned that Pam had sent her a card. Well, this is the one that I got from her too. I got a Galentine's card from PJB Stamper.
Aw.
Yeah.
And I got to give you guys my address too.
Mine is in the description of the video. If anybody wants to send me happy mail. We also sometimes do some swaps and such. I mean, I know I've got one up for doing memory decks cards. So I think some folks have hooked up to send each other some memory decks cards because a lot of them never heard of them before.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Okay. Well, it looks like most of it's coming. Well, no, it's not. It's like I was going to experiment and try to do it, and it's not. It's hard to tell if it's dry.
All right, so I'm going to move this off to the side and let that dry for a minute, and we'll bring this one back. And there we go.
And yours are coming up just so clean. That looks awesome.
Isn't that pretty? And that was just done with a little shower squeegee, some bubble wrap, and that.
This is looking interesting, but it's not picking up everything. But that I think is going to be okay. I feel like I'm going to rip my.
If you let that dry, feel of your paper. Is it still cold?
Yeah, it kind of feels lumpy.
Let it move it. Just leave it alone. Put it somewhere else. Leave it alone. Let it dry. Okay. Leave it alone.
Okay. But
did you get one print a minute ago? Did you finish one print a second ago when you were playing the first time?
No, because I was trying to peel it up, and you can see there's all that paint still there. It's like a little bit is coming up, but not enough. It's like just not dry enough.
Yeah. So next time, a little less paint, I think, is what you need to do. And that's, you know, you're using the paint you're using now. Yeah. But next time you'll use a different paint, and you got to start all over. Sorry.
Well, so far, every print that I've done has left paint on the plate, which means none of them were actually dry enough, I think.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. But I wouldn't have known that if you hadn't been here to kind of walk me through it. This is awesome.
Good. So now I'm just using leftover paint that was still on my little 5x7, and I'm using it as a ink pad, basically with the paint and stamping. So I'm creating.
And doing it with a stamp like that. That's one of the foam stamps?
Yep. This is a little foam stamp.
So that means it makes it so you don't pick up nearly as much paint.
Correct.
As say,
yep.
Yeah, okay.
You put it here so you can see it.
That's awesome.
Yep. So I'm just kind of I had brayered it out and I still have paint. So now I'm just making some little fun shapes here so that I can try to use up this paint and not waste it, because we don't want to waste it, right? We talked about that.
Okay, so Jane had a question. How long do you let it dry? Is that all the time? So it's like every time it seems like we do have to let it dry.
It depends upon the look that you're going for. Again, there's my it depends answer. Because we're trying to pull multiple layers with one print is why you have to let it dry. If you just want to do a print, the ones that I did at the beginning, I pulled right away. So you can, it just depends on what you're looking for. You can just pull prints. You don't have to do a one print pull. You could pull a print. So I could take this one. Matter of fact, let's do that now. So I could take this one that I just did. I don't have to put another bit of paint on here. I can do my layers one step at a time on my papers. So I'll give it a good rub, shove everything over.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. I think that's probably why I got a little, because I was wanting to play, and I saw what you were doing, and I've done it like that before. I was going too fast to pull everything, and then it's like, well, she's talking about doing layers now, and I was thinking that that's how to do it too. Because what I was noticing on my first ones is like I was basically blending all the colors pretty much together. Like these came up real easy, but they're boring.
but there's your background.
Yeah.
So you did do prints. See, I knew that you had done some prints.
Yeah, this was like right at the beginning when you were working on your first couple of them. And I went through like this first one. This one was with the inks. This is the Distress Oxide, because I think it was Dawn who's asking about that. So yeah, these are Distress Oxide inks, and I just brayered them together and kind of did a little bit of an ombre. And then this was the first one that I dragged one of these little combs through it to get that kind of oceany look.
So there you go. You've got some prints. While you're waiting for those to dry so that you're not sitting there with nothing to do, take those two or take one of them and make a card out of it. Use it as a background or something, or die cut it or something so that you can have something to do. That's putting you on the spot.
Can you while it's drying on one side, can you put paint on the other side of your gel press?
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good idea or not. I think I'm going to try that.
I honestly don't think I've tried that either. And I'm sitting here going, why the heck not?
Okay, Dawn Wilcox was asking, I want on that. I think she meant want in on that. Is it too late? I think she's talking about the swap that we're doing over in the group. If you're over in the group, check the events part. If it's not, I think it's still open. If it isn't, let me know and I'll reopen the thing, so you can definitely swap with a couple of folks if they want to put together some memory decks cards. Because I made some using stickers from Dollar Tree that turned out so stinking cute because they just happened to be really nice stickers. Like one's got a ballerina on it, and it turned out so nice.
All right, so that's the same color. I want to use something different.
So I just put down some of the Prom Queen, and it's real thin, so it's kind of translucent. And then because I don't want to do too much, and now I'm going to do some of the, what color is this? Called Triple Berry. I've only used these guys for a couple of times. Actually,
little goes a long way. Remember.
Yeah. That's why I spread this one out so thin. And I do have a stencil. I've actually got a bunch of stencils.
That's what I was going to pull out. Yeah.
So I'm thinking, since I'm having to go so thin anyway, doing it through a stencil would probably work better, and it would dry faster.
So when you're working with your colors too, good thing, when you're beginner and getting started, you can, if I sat here, I just put a couple different colors. If I sat here and just brayered back and forth, I'm really just mixing that color. So if you want it really nice and smooth, brayer it out. But no, if you use contrasting color, you're just making mud. So I like to leave my colors a little splotchy because that's the look that I like. I like to see all the different little layers and textures peeking through. So I've got some color down. Let's let's pull out a stencil here. And got a couple stencils. So I can put this one down. These are by the Crafters Workshop. So I'm going to put a couple and play. And then use some paper. Now, if you like playing with stencils, here's a fun little trick. So I'm putting down the stencils on the paint, and I'm going to put some paper down and give a good little rub. So this is where I do like to use my hands to make sure that I get down in all those little stencil holes. And I want to pull up all of the paint out of the stencil spaces. So sometimes, so there's one print. And then I'm going to get another piece of paper and get out the last of that paper and the last of that paint. This is a great way to
it turns out
dimension.
I didn't have enough of the lunar paste down because nothing came out on the paper. Nothing. So
it dried too fast.
Yes, that one dried too fast because I did it nice and thin. So I'm going to put a little more down. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and put, I was planning initially to put down some of the triple berry. Those two colors go well together anyway. So I'm going to add triple berry to the prom queen and go ahead and do a real thin layer all the way across. And then I'll put my DIY stencil. This is what I had die cut like a cover plate. I don't even remember what cover plate it was, but I die cut it out of some transparency. Where did I put it? I just had it.
I didn't mean to
instead of using like buying acetate, I just use transparencies for all of my acetate stuff. Oh, no wonder I couldn't see it. It was right beside me and it's clear. That's the downside on these because it's clear. You can't see the darn thing.
So put it on a piece of paper. That helps a lot. That's why I've got it on paper here so I don't lose it because I had it in this white spot
too. It's like, okay, it was on my glass mat in the white area and I still didn't see it. Yep. Okay. See, I hope that I'm pulling up some of that.
So where I pulled the paint out of the stencil with the paper, I kept my stencils on and now I'm going back and I used my other plate, my little one here, as a palette and brayered out some paint and I'm filling back in the holes. So there's still the blue paint underneath the stencils that I first put down. And now I'm filling in the holes here with this other contrasting. Now I want to pick up my stencils and just move them out of the way so I don't stick them on anything. So there we go. And now I can pull this print right away while it's still wet. So here's, pulling prints while they're still wet. And give a good rub.
Okay. I'm going to use my glass mat. I'm going to have a mess to clean up. Oh, well. Since I don't have another gel plate to do it with, my glass mat will act as my palette.
And if you need gel plates, you can go to gelpress.com.
Absolutely. I told you I need to be an affiliate. Yep. Right now, everybody watching was wanting gel press.
Well,
and I think they're wanting to see more from you.
You can get it from gelpress.com. You can also get them from Amazon, and you can get them from your local retailers. So check out your local retailer, your favorite online shop. Those are all places. They're also, the Gel Press brand called Gel Press is not at Michael's, but the Ranger gel plates that are at Michael's, those are Gel Press plates. Those are co-branded with Ranger. So if you buy a Ranger gel plate, you're buying Gel Press.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. So
Yeah, I think the ones I got were the Jelly Press, the Speedball, whatever. And I've had them for like 2 years or something.
Speedball is their plate is a totally different critter. It's thinner, it's harder, and it's made specifically to use with Akua inks, with their printing inks. So it does not play as well with the acrylic paints that you're used to using.
So that might be part of what I'm doing. Part of why because I know that these are the Jelly Press things. They are, yeah, I think it's from Jelly Arts because I got them at Michael's.
Is it Jelly Arts or Gel or Speedball? You said Speedball a minute ago.
Well, I think it said Speedball. Okay, the combs are from Jelly Arts. They're
fine. Yeah,
these plates are actually Speedball.
Yeah, don't use a Speedball plate with your acrylic paints. They're made more for the Akua inks that Speedball produces.
Okay, that means I definitely need new stuff.
Yes, you do. Why didn't you tell me that beforehand? I thought you had.
Because I didn't know. It's like I've had these couple of things that I've had for a little while, and I'm thinking it's one brand and it's not.
Nope. So here's the print that I just pulled where I put the stencil, I put down the blue paints, then I put the stencils, I took the paint out of the stencil spaces, and so here's the print that I pulled to get the paint out of the spaces. And then I added another color on top to fill back in the holes, and then lifted the stencils and pulled my print. So it picked up the pink and the blue that was underneath the stencils. Does that make sense? Yeah. You can see. So now I have
I tried that, but because I think because I used the lunar paste first and didn't have a foundation of paint over it, it didn't really come through as well. I mean, I can still see it, but it's really, really, really soft.
Yep.
And that's because these are pretty translucent unless you do them thick, which causes them to take forever. So I did do the pull on the other side of that one, and the gold does show through. This still feels a little damp, and it's like green and gold. And there was like one little clump of a different paint that's got like a spot on there. So now I'm going to try pulling this other one that I had actually done first, and we will see what it looks like.
Okay.
And this one, it looks like it's ripping my paper.
So I would let that one dry even more.
Okay.
Yep. You may have to let that one, if you've got a lot of paint on there, you may have to let that dry for a while.
Overnight?
Maybe. Yeah.
So far we've discovered that my jelly plates are not what I really needed to be using with this, and my paints are crap. I don't have the right tools. I am so sorry. I didn't do a good job with that.
You have to use gel press. What can I say?
You have to use the good stuff. Okay.
But you know, isn't this like a great commercial? Yeah, Dina Wakely's are great. And the lunar paste are good too. You've got to find the right amount to be able to use on your plates. So I honestly, Simon, if you're listening, don't have them yet.
Ooh. So, did you hear that, Elizabeth? Yes, I say Elizabeth a lot because she's doing like constant live streams for all sorts of things, and she does a lot of the mixed media stuff like you do. So it's really cool. She's the one that turned all of us in the chat onto Simon Hurley.
He's so sweet. Yeah, he's one of our artists, so he plays with our plates. Okay, I'm gonna let that one dry. So we're gonna move this one off to the side. Because I want to pick up all that. I'm trying not to
use much paint at all, but to me it just looks like everything it's turning out so translucent I can see straight through it.
But that's okay.
Because I'm not using much paint.
Yeah. Without sitting there with you, it's hard to see from here. The one where I use the stencils.
I'm going to have to come visit. I am definitely going to have to come visit.
Come on. I still have that paint dried that was underneath. So I could definitely lift this. I could clean it and just start over. Or I could use this. And even, I'll be real honest with you, if you want to know the truth. A lot of times when I'm cleaning up, and if I still have something on my plate like this, I'll leave it. I don't even clean them before I put them up if they're just like this, because then when I'm getting ready to print again, if I decided to print tomorrow or something else like that, I've already got a base here ready to go. So I've pulled prints that have dried paint on there that have been there for days, weeks. So, if it's a size I don't use a lot, so I could leave this, or I could just put something else over it. So we're just going to use some white paint and see if that will show.
Okay, Janine is saying, and actually this is like, oh, I'm actually almost caught up with the chat. That's nice. She says, I can hardly wait to try and use my gel plate. It's been on my long to-do list.
Yes. Good. All right, so I'm just doing a real thin coat of white here because I really want that really light blue to show up.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not doing it, and I want to pick this up fairly quickly. So I'm just going to do a real thin coat. Even. Clean the brayer. I need to
Okay,
wash all my
this
brayers.
message was directed at you. Elizabeth Costa Rogers says, you're missing out on the lunar paste. Trust me.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm thinking, I think it's similar to the...
Yeah, I think you're right. The
stencil butter that I have.
Well, I know that when I was watching you with the Crafters Workshop, to me, a lot of the colors seemed the same and the texture seemed the same-ish.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure that there's something a little bit different. I know these have got a bunch of shimmer in them where the others don't necessarily. I mean, this stuff makes really, really pretty. I've made like gold cardstock and stuff.
Yep.
It's like, oh my God. But I'm thinking I need to try the Crafters Workshop too, because I had never, I've seen the logo, but I've never really thought about it. I didn't know what it was until I watched you and Aaron Reed yesterday.
Yep.
Or rather, yesterday was when I watched the replay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was Friday. Yeah. So. Boop, boop, boop.
Okay, and then
all right, anybody else drinking tonight? I've got mine.
I think a lot of these folks are getting ready to have dinner, and I haven't really seen a lot of food talk this time. You have definitely had.
I don't even know what we're doing for dinner yet, and let's see, it's almost 7.
Yeah, it'll be leftovers for us.
Yeah, it'll be delivery for us tonight. Grubhub or Uber Eats.
BB Production Studios asked what kind of paints we're using, because I know you got a bunch of different kind of paints that you can promote and let her know what you got.
Yep. We were just talking about the Crafters Workshop stencil butter, which I use a lot of times. But right now, tonight, I'm using Amsterdam paints by Royal Talons. So I've got a good little set there. But I do use the golden open acrylics and the golden fluid acrylics. I use a lot of deco art paints. I use pretty much you name it. I have Dina Wakley paints. I'm turning around going, what all do I have? Inks, alcohol inks. But tonight I'm using the Royal Talons Amsterdam acrylics. So they're just super smooth paints. And I get beautiful prints out of them every single time. No fail.
Awesome. So now I need to figure out what can I use all my cheapo paints for, because this is not one of the things I need to be using those for. I need better paints for this.
Yep. So I'm doing what they call a pickup print now. So that little bit that was left over on my plate, I put a little bit of white paint down, gave it a good massage, and I was able to lift all that up. Do you see?
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And look.
And that would make some nice subtle backgrounds.
It does. And my plate, I've got it on just a white piece of paper here, and it is stained from alcohol inks and different pigments, but it's clean. So it's ready to go and print again. So that's the way that we do a pickup print. So if you want it to be just kind of blend into your background, that's where you'd use a white paint if you're using white cardstock so that the background just kind of disappears. So all you really see is that blue, but you still see a little bit of that pink in the edges. Get it up close so you can see. So this was just a pickup print of the paint that was left over under the stencil. So again, we were able to get 1, 2, 3 prints out of Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. So
Elizabeth is saying they are similar. I think she has both the TCW and Lunar Paste. So she says they are similar.
okay. Good. Good. All right. So let's see what I've made tonight. I have a ghost print, and even these guys, I still use these and I keep them. This was that little tiny ghost print that I pulled a little while ago. Not a lot of color to them, but if I'm doing collage and I'm wanting to, work with different pieces, I'll keep this because this will be good little white space that just has little pieces. So I don't, or you can use it to pull another print from, add it as a background, and add more layers to it. But these are some of the prints that I was able to pull tonight.
Okay, so this one, it looks like that first one that I've been waiting forever on. It looks like it's finally coming off.
Yes.
I'm pulling it from the other side so that it doesn't rip the paper too badly.
See how sometimes if you pull the plate from the paper, then, and let's pull, I'll wait for you. I want to see. Da, 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 da.
I mean, it's still messed up because of the, that actually looks kind of, I know somebody who would like that. Biddy Penny would definitely use it with the torn, but see how much of it tore off?
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of it tore off. But
so stick some, you know what? Yeah, stick some matte medium or something, or some gloss medium underneath, and it'll glue right back on. Don't worry about it.
But it did what I wanted it to do with the gold was the part that was wet still.
Yeah.
So that it did.
But I can see it peeking through.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's pretty. Yeah, Biddy Penny just started following me on Instagram. So hey, girl.
Yeah, she's got have you seen her videos? She does a lot of them. She does like junk journals and things like that. I met her and Aaron Reed in Austin when we went on vacation.
Okay.
Thanksgiving this year. So that was awesome.
Nice. So I'm going to pull my last print here, and this is the one that I built up all the layers, then added that last little bit of color. So let's do the big reveal. These are my favorite.
Wow. Okay.
So you can see.
I definitely have to practice with the layering thing because that is gorgeous.
And that's where, you can build up layers and you can print multiple layers, just one layer at a time. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's, start there so that you're comfortable with that and how much paint to use or not use. So I'd say start something like this and then start building up your layers and letting each layer dry in between and pull back some paints. So you want to use your stamps or bubble wrap or something to actually take paint away so that when you add your next layer, you can see that it's peeking through. So here's where that stamp removed some. You can see the little, all those just little fun shapes. Here's that little script. This was this stamp here that you can see in the background. The squeegee, the loops, the bubble wrap, all just kinds of little fun things. So I've got plenty of prints that I could then cut these up. I could use these to do collage, or I could cut this out and make a card out of it. I could play. So yeah, I love doing this. Just get really lost in it.
That explains our hour and a half.
Yes.
And we can keep going as long as you want to. I know that you probably need to have dinner and stuff too, but yeah, I'm here.
I do probably. My family is starting to sneak in the door quietly, so they're starting to come home. I'm trying to see. I had that other little piece of paper that I put somewhere so that I can. Oh wait, I got more prints. There's my other prints. Look, see, I forgot.
Oh yeah, the ones that were done with that roller thing.
Yes, and I had that piece of card that I made that I stuck somewhere so that I can make a card out of it later. The little 6x6, and I don't know. I don't know where I put it. Ta-da! There it is.
Okay, Bethany with BB Productions says, "Ooh, that one may be her favorite, but I don't know which one she's talking about."
I think she said that with this.
Yeah, that last is gorgeous.
One. Yeah. So do we have any questions? Any other questions about working with the gel plates?
Not yet. Elizabeth
Okay.
says so many goodies.
Mm-hmm.
I told you, I
you can
think they
use
are absolutely loving this.
Oh, good, good, good. We'll have to do it a little earlier one day so we can just play all day.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, because you can just create, you could create collages out of them. So let me see. Let me grab some samples here.
So yeah, guys, if you have any questions, anything else you want to ask Miss Cheryl, and I will definitely try to twist her arm so she comes back on. So,
I'd love to. Yeah.
So yeah, we will see her again, and I'm going to definitely send her an invite to come over to our Facebook group so you guys can learn more from her. Be sure to check out the Gel Press Facebook group. See, oh my goodness, what is that?
So this is just a journal that I made with prints. So
okay, I am zooming in on you again, so they're not going to see my desk again. I keep doing that because I want to see what you're doing.
Well, I was trying to like scrounge up. So this is one of the classes that that I was teaching. I came up with this one. I taught in Australia a little bit back, and so I still have some of those samples. So this is one of my journals, and this was all done with gel prints on mat board. So this is a real heavy mat board. This is actually one of the Sizzix travel journal by Eileen Hull. So this is one of her dies. And then it's just a, traveling notebook, and you could put, I've got different types of paper in here, but you could put your prints, or you could have blank paper and put a couple of different signatures in here. So that's what I've done.
Yeah, I need to learn the whole art journaling thing. But yeah, that is awesome.
Well, I always have people who are asking me, well, what can I do with all these beautiful prints? You've made these beautiful prints. Now what you can do with them? Like I said, you can cut them out. You can make them like a card. You can make them a background. You can cut them out with your die cuts to make shapes. I mean, imagine this one cut out in little fishes. Imagine cutting some little fish out of this. Yeah, and then putting it on a card. Yes, or a little mermaid.
I just had a thought with that one. Spellbinder. Is it Spellbinders? No, there is a foil press plate that is a couple of seahorses. It's one of the first ones that I bought. It's like gorgeous. Of course, I think it was Elizabeth may have been the one that turned me on to that one, but it is just so pretty. Yeah. That would go great on that. And I'm thinking in gold foil. Yeah.
And you could do that. You can collage with it. So here's a canvas that I did by cutting up little pieces, taking all my little prints and cutting them up and making a canvas out of them, and then just adding some more stencil work and some more paint and things like that. So there's a lot that you can do with your prints, or you can just have fun.
Of course, I'm thinking a little bit digital. So I'm thinking scan it in and print it out as some scrapbook paper.
Yeah, I scan mine in quite frequently, actually, and I use mine to create.
I mean, yeah, it's like you got this, but you don't want to use it because it's just so darn pretty.
Yep.
But yeah,
and I use them to create digital art, to do backgrounds, little wonky houses, things like that, with my digital prints. Backgrounds for quotes that you use on social media. When you're looking for just a really great background and you just want to create a quick social media post, take a picture of one of your prints, stick a quote on it, boom, you're done. So
I'm also thinking planner covers.
Yes, planner covers, planner pages.
Print it out on some decent, not too thick, but decent paper after you scan it in. Print it out, cut it out, run it through your laminator, and you've got a planner cover.
Mm-hmm.
Those are just gorgeous.
Well, thank you.
I have to say thank you. I know I need to let you go and let you eat. I got to let these other guys go so they can have their dinner too, but I don't want to. But thank you so much for coming on with me, hon.
Thank you.
Elizabeth is telling me the name of the glimmer plate I was talking about. It's called Show Ponies.
Show Ponies.
Yeah, it's a couple of seahorses, and you can get it at Spellbinders. But they are gorgeous. They are gorgeous. And they come with, you can either foil them with or without the die. There's a die so you can cut them out, but you could just foil them straight on there and leave the background on there, or you could foil them on there and cut the whole thing out, and then you've got that cool background on, but behind your seahorse. But that is gorgeous.
You've got to come over and play, so because I need to up my foiling. Well, I need to like start my foiling game. I've done so
do you
little
have a
with
hot
it.
foil machine?
I do. I've done some stuff with ThermoWeb in the past, so I do.
Okay.
But yeah, I need to practice, especially with all the cute little dies and all the things they have now.
I know.
Yeah,
I keep getting more.
Yeah. So we'll have to get together.
I'll bring my Spellbinders foil press, and
yeah. I
get
think
some
you should
more-
come here because I have so many toys. Definitely bring any foiling stuff.
And then
But
we'll have to do like a live thing with us crafting together. That would be awesome.
We can do that. I have the space. I can put up a table. We can do that.
Oh, fantastic. See, now,
Right.
Okay, guys, I'm going to tell the folks that have guested on my channel and know how to sign up and all of that stuff. I've got right now set up so I could have 2 guests. So guess what? Someone should have come on with us tonight. That would have been so fun. We're going to have to do that sometime. And I know of at least a couple of people that would have had a blast hanging out and crafting with you.
I love it. That's the part that I've really been struggling. I was traveling all over the country into Canada. I taught in Australia for many weeks. I was there for 5 weeks teaching. So I can now say I'm an international teacher, and I miss the in-person teaching. I mean, that's my thing. I love to work with you and to teach. I'm missing that interaction. So yeah, I need some play friends.
Absolutely. So Chery D says, enjoyed the live. She got to meet you when you came to Raleigh.
Hello,
Chery D has met you in real life. Awesome.
That has been, I'd say, one of my most favorite things is meeting all the different people. And it is, when I was teaching, I was traveling. I have a vintage travel trailer. Her name is Glenda. She's been personified. And so I was traveling all over the place in my little travel trailer. And I keep saying I'm going to write a book about my travels, because I would meet people here and there, and then come to find out, I'd meet them again years later somewhere else. Or the funniest one was I met a friend of mine who I had been friends with online. She had been on teams that I had managed before with other companies. And her and I were friends. She had a store up in Maine, and I had taught at her store, but I had not met her husband in person. So I met her husband, and we met at an event, and he's talking about my little paint job that I did on my little trailer. And I was telling him, that I had learned how to do that by watching this video on YouTube, how to paint a travel trailer in less than $50. And we start talking. Well, long story short, come to find out, it was him that did that video.
Oh
that
my
I had
God,
watched.
that is too funny.
My husband and I had watched it again and again and again and again, like how to do that with spray paint and how to paint your travel trailer for less than $50. So now he was standing in my trailer talking about, how did I learn to paint my trailer? And it was from his YouTube. And I never knew it. Their last name is Schoenfeld, and it just didn't click. Schofield. It just didn't click for me of making the connection. I taught at a store up in Illinois, and the lady there knew my family. So she grew up in Okeechobee, which is here in Florida.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
So yeah, the very, very first class that I taught in person was in Maine. Hey, Dawn, where are you at in Maine? I think
we'll have to wait a second, see what she says.
I know we will. But I taught a class there at this little bitty store, Upper Maine, and that lady moved to North Carolina. Lynn is her name, and her and I are still friends. And she still sends me cards, and we still chat. And when I went to North Carolina, she had just moved there, and she was able to find a local store because she saw my advertisement saying I was going to be teaching. So now she teaches at that local store. So go figure.
Oh, wow.
I know. So it's just, I love all the little connections that you can make. So now I'm just rambling.
Because you don't want to go eat dinner either.
No, I know. I need to. So
okay. So Dawn says that she's in Portland.
Dawn, have you and I met? I feel like we have. Like that name looks really familiar. So my bestest friend is in Acton. So I'm in Portland usually once a year, or somewhere in that area. So she's just outside of Sanford. So she's the one
right up the road from me.
No, Sanford, Maine. Sorry.
Oh, Sanford, Maine. Okay, I lost track.
Yep. No, she's in Sanford, Maine, and she's my photographer. So it's time for me to go back and get some more branding photos done. Kate Nolan Denim Photography, if you're wondering. So, Dawn, if you need somebody to do some branding photos, go see her. She's great.
Okay, so Jean Marin was asking, where do I buy this stuff? So I just looked up the Gel Press website. I'm going to go ahead and post a link over in the chat.
Yep, gelpress.com.
But there are other places that you can get it as well. I know you said that you don't have affiliate marketing set up for that yet, but is there anywhere that they can go where you get credit for sending them there at this point?
Yeah, if they visit my Amazon store, if they're wanting to work through mine, yeah.
Okay, go ahead and add that in the chat. That way you get some of the affiliate sales, because I know that they love to support us with those.
Oh, that'd be great.
They shop from Spellbinders from using my links, and Elizabeth has got some links for some things that she does, and I think she does. I've got Simon Hurley. I've got Ranger as one of mine as well, but yeah, I think Ranger may have these. You said that Ranger has a version of it on their website.
Yeah,
right?
Ranger has some plates that they sell in the Hobby Lobby. Sorry, in
Michael's.
Michael's, yes.
Okay, but it may not be anything on their website. I don't know. I'll have to look.
Oh, might be.
I haven't checked that.
Yeah, I couldn't.
So if there is, I can definitely give you guys an affiliate link.
I'm trying to figure out how to put a link in here. I can't seem to scroll down to where the chat is.
Well, okay. Ranger does have gel plates there. They are the Delusions. Is Delusions the same one?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So
Dina and Diane both have. They're kind of together on the two plates.
Okay,
so
great.
yeah, they both.
I will grab a link then for that and put that over in the chat for these guys. Yeah, so if you're wanting any of that, there's a bunch of other stuff on there too, but this is basically, I did a search for gel plates on Ranger and got the link. And
I just put in the private chat because I can't seem to figure out where to put a comment.
Okay, I will copy that then.
Yeah, that's my Amazon affiliate. That's my Amazon store. So anything that I use as far as studio supplies, gel printing, all that kind of stuff is in there.
Well, I'm going to have to check that out. I've had issues with trying to do anything through Amazon. I've got affiliate links for Amazon, but they never give me credit for anything. It's like
you have to do so much. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like I get very few clicks on it. I think I was getting clicks, but nothing was being sold through it. But my mother-in-law would buy stuff and I wouldn't get credit because there's something on their website saying about friends and family.
Yeah, if somebody
not counting my buying, I mean, I buy from Amazon. My stuff doesn't count. That's the only place I know of that does not give you credit for buying using your own links.
I agree. I know.
It's got me irritated. I have not figured out how to make it work in any fashion.
Yep. No, there's not. They watch you. Thank you, BB, for subscribing to me. I do appreciate that so much.
Yes, she is so close to 1,000, guys.
I know. I'm trying.
So we're gonna. How about this? Here's something else for you because I know you're wanting to dip your feet more in the pool for doing live streams. Why don't I come onto your channel at one point and we will do it again over there?
Okay, that sounds great. Fantastic. I need to come up
Which means you guys will get to come over there and it'll give her some additional views and such too. And I think you just need to go over to her channel and check it out anyway.
Thank you very
Especially
much.
if you love all the mixed media stuff.
Yeah, I dabble in quite a few things. So not only gel press and stencil and mixed media, but I also do a lot of sculptures. So
Okay, this one's looking kind of funky. But it's interesting. And I just ripped off some paper. No, I didn't. Okay. It's like, it's gold and gold. But I did kind of the thing with the stenciling thing with the gold. I need to do it with darker colors so it's actually visible. And now it's all messy.
Here's one of the little sculptures that I teach. So this is a little fairy. And this will be going up on my website soon. So.
And of course, I clicked the wrong button. Now they can see it.
There we go.
That is cute. What did you make that out of?
It's and here's like a little angel. So this is wire and fabric with a textile hardener called PowerTex. So I love to just create all kinds of little fun things. So yeah.
Cool. Oh, also, this is just a funny side note. While I was getting ready for the stream, I came across, I think it was on your Instagram. I'm not sure, but I came across something that you had on I think it was in your Instagram, where you were burning a wood frame.
Yes.
So I had to stop and have him look at it.
Yes.
That was cool.
That was part of my cradle board for my caustic. So that was the sides of it that I was burning. I just suddenly had that little noun loss thing. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a Japanese form of preserving wood.
I love that word. I had never heard that word before.
Yeah.
Well, you've had a couple more people subscribe to your channel while we've been on. Elizabeth said that I shared her link in my group. So she's she's got her group on Facebook is crafty. Well, Chat with Sassy's Crafty Friends or something like that. I always just look up Sassy and I find it.
Send me links. Yep, send me links because I share. And I have a group on Facebook called Living Your Art Life, where I just really encourage you to live your art life, whatever that is. Whether it's decorating food, whether it's making cards, or you're just an art collector and lover. Find ways to live your art life every single day.
Well, I am typing it in and looking it up right now so that I can put it in the chat and tell everybody go over there too.
Thank you.
And then that monitor didn't want to work right. Okay.
See, I can grab
and
that
I'm just making sure that it's you.
I think it's the only one that's like living your art life. Let's see. Boom.
Okay, because the one that I'm seeing has writing in Hebrew, like for some of the most recent images.
Oh
no, nope. I'm sorry. That one's Art of Living Your Life. That's not right.
Yeah. No. Here, I'll put it in the private chat so you can just copy paste.
Okay. Sounds great.
There you go. Yep. And I may not post in there every single day, but I do watch and we do share stuff. And I will be being more active. I'm trying to get some help. We're working on that.
BB Productions is saying, hopefully you'll hit 1,000 followers soon. I'm close to 50 and I'm geeky about a small number, so I can only imagine. Yeah, I have to admit, before I finally reached the monetization thing, I'd say every day I'd have YouTube pulled up all the time just to see what my numbers were.
Yep.
It's kind of where you got right brain, and left brain sometimes takes over.
Yep. And it's hard because it's more than just how many followers. You got to have, people's got to be watching your videos too. So you need like 4,000 watch hours. So that's what I need to work on. Is getting more people actually watching the videos. So I've got a good little thing. So, yeah.
Okay. So, Dawn says she's at 922. And then Elizabeth said that she requested to join that group too.
Perfect. I will accept all of those when we are off of here before I go to bed tonight. So
fantastic. Well, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. I know I've been saying that for the last 20 minutes at least, but we keep talking.
Yeah, I know. And if anybody did create some while we were playing, definitely share them with me. Share them either, shoot me a message with your pictures or put it in the printmakers group or put it in my group, wherever. I'd love to see what you're making with gel press also, and definitely how you were living your art life.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Cheryl.
Thank
you
you.
have a wonderful night. And thank you, guys. You have a wonderful night. And remember, if we can make it, you can too. You
Yes,
have a great
ma'am.
one, guys.
All right.